Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. In this video, we'll look at how to pronounce the words cater and caterer. So the word caterer is challenging because it has the two American sounds in a row. It can be helpful to just get the word cater first, so let's break that down and then we'll move on to caterer. So the letter A in caterer does say the A diphthong, and that's pretty typical for when there's an E after your A, like in the name Kate, for example. In this case, that doesn't really follow that rule because the E is part of the ER, but nonetheless, you can think of it as K, rhyming with day or say. If you have trouble making that A diphthong, it can be helpful just to say the K part by itself. Oftentimes, when we're saying a word like say or day, we have enough time to do the A. And then when we're trying to say something like cater or name or change, our A ends up coming out a little more like a monophthong, like cater instead of K, cater. So saying that K first can help you make that nice long sliding gliding diphthong A sound. You can get more help for this vowel and all of the vowels of English in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com, as well as for the consonant sounds and the other details we'll be talking about in this word. Check that out. All of our online courses are either free or available for under $2, so they're a great resource to help with your pronunciation. Then when we get to the letter T in cater, instead of having the T sound with a release of air like it would be at the start of a word like talk or take, here it sounds more like a D. So I've rewritten it here for you with the letters D-E-R, cater, because we use a flap for this. So the flap sound we use for T's and D's in the middle when there's not a stressed syllable following. If you think about it like a light D, just tapping up with your voice on, cater, cater, that can help you. Sometimes for some people doing the flap and the R is a tough combination, like in water or better, and I do have a number of videos helping you specifically with that sound, as well as our Sounds of English course. If the R's give you difficulty, you can also start with your sound and then add your D, like der, cater, cater. For the tight back American R, you just want to have your tongue bunched or curled back and making sure that there's that tense sound. Don't go for the sound. That's more of the British Kada. They use more of an R-colored schwa there. Here in American English, we really use that R. Anytime you see the letter R, we're pretty much going to say or the R sound. Okay, once I can say cater, all I need to do is add another after the der. So breaking it down and going slowly can be helpful. Caterer, caterer, caterer. You hear how I kind of have to put the R here, caterer, when I go slowly. So that's because when we have an R in the middle, we don't just say and we don't just say r for R at the start. We're linking and gliding between. So caterer, that R is just between the first R and the end. So it's kind of arbitrary to break it up like K, der, but that can help you feel that der, that I have to just lift my tongue, relax it, and lift it back to that tight sound. I think when I say caterer, if I'm speaking in a sentence like I hired a caterer, the caterers are late, I do relax a little bit and I come back to that R. Sometimes it can sound like caterer, like kind of just like one long sound. You want to try to avoid that because then it's hard to tell if you're saying cater or caterer. But know that American speakers, native speakers, will struggle with this word as well. Anytime there's multiple R's in a word, like in juror or rural or caterer, it's tough because that R position is very specific, and going in and out of it twice can definitely be challenging. So you're not alone if this is a challenging word for you. Thanks so much for the request of this word, caterer. And like I mentioned, or like I modeled, you do want to try practicing in some short phrases once you can say it by itself, because it won't necessarily translate into your speech. Even if you master caterer by itself, when you go to talk, your tongue may have trouble, may go back to its habits, or you may just stumble over the word because it is so difficult. So practicing some short phrases, the caterers, I'm a caterer, the catering company, etc., can really help you get more confident when you go to use this word in everyday speech. If you have a request you'd like to see covered in this series, do feel free to leave that in the comments for this video or any of my videos. I'll be back again tomorrow with another word of the day, as well as on Saturday, our new day and time, we'll have our live question and answer class. You can attend that 9 a.m. Seattle time, Saturday morning, 12 noon Eastern time. Type your questions in the chat and I'll answer them for you live. That's on our YouTube channel, Speech Modification Seattle. I hope to see you there. I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. SpeechModification.com. Bye everyone. Hope to see you again soon.